back in the 90s when this car was introduced, if you were a prime minister of some country, the Pope, a really rich businessman, or maybe even a mob boss, this was the weapon of choice. So now this car was introduced with a lot of features. They call this car the most over-engineered Mercedes in the history of Mercedes-Benz. And this car was introduced with air suspension as well, which they discontinued. It was only a few models that came out with it in '96 during the facelift. But they got rid of it and they reintroduced the Airmatic, which is the air suspension Mercedes uses, in '98 with the W220. But with the 140, air suspension is very rare. I think it only came in the S600s. I'm not sure. This model particularly is a S320. It's an inline 6, 3.2. I think it has an M104 engine in it. Yeah, it's not really powerful. I think it makes about somewhere between 200 to 230 horsepower. It's enough to get itself out of the way and get it going, but it's not going to run any race. It's not going to win any races. Other than that, the comfort of this car is just amazing. I mean, you can just look at this. You can just turn the steering wheel effortlessly. The turning radius on this car is actually really good for being such a big car. Like, you'd be surprised in the tight gaps and the tight spots where I make U-turns. Like, it's just unreal. Like I said, this car is just over-engineered, man. Like, Mercedes thought it through, and they really built a car to last long. I mean, this thing's about 23 years old and it's still running really good. Like, it has no issues, touch wood. Now, this car was introduced with parking sensors. There was actually 2 antennas in the back that would go up when you put the car in reverse. But Mercedes obviously got rid of that and put real sonar equipped parking sensors, which you see in your modern day cars today. It has all these luxury features, like it's got mirrors in the back. It's got an ashtray on each side. I think this car has about, 3 ashtrays? 2 on each side in the back and then 1 big one in the front. You know, normal luxury features that you see in your everyday luxury sedan now. But this is back in '96. This car, I remember seeing this thing for the first time. I mean, I've seen this car a lot of times, but the first time where I actually noticed this car, I was like, yo, I gotta have this when I grow up, was in 50 Cent's movie Get Rich or Die Trying. And I remember he walked up to the dealership and just bought one cash, and that thing was so gangster looking. I was like, yo, I gotta have one of these. And growing up in the 90s, watching Jay-Z videos, Notorious B.I.G. videos, Tupac videos, whatever, you know, all these rap videos back in the day, me when I grew up, they had this car, and I'm so glad to own one of these. Especially in a country like India, where it's really rare to find a clean example of this. I think there's only like about 100, maybe 150, maybe even less examples of this car. And honestly, like, me personally, in the city of Mumbai, there's probably honestly about like under 20 W140s that are actually in good condition running, that can actually be driven every day. This car is so smooth. Like, honestly, you guys really have to sit in one of these things and drive one of these things to know what I mean. And the comfort level in these seats is just a class apart. Neo Mercedes don't have these seats like, you know, how the 140 used to have it. You know, these seats kind of have like a spring cushion type of thing, kind of like your grandmom's sofa back home. So this car was designed by a guy named Bruno Sacco, who was responsible for designing a lot of Mercedeses, like the SL in the 90s, the R129, beautiful car by the way, and various Mercedes products that he has designed. But believe it or not, he actually hates the W140 design, even though he designed it. He said it was 4 inches too tall. I think that's probably something to do with making the car safe or making the car more aerodynamic or something like that. You know, safety is another thing. This car is a tank. When I talk about German tank, this car is a tank. I have a friend back home in America His name is Will. I hope you're watching this video, Will. He was on Interstate 95, I-95, getting off the highway. Late at night, he gets cut off by a car. He swerves. This car with 5 people in it starts flipping. He hits the guardrail, and the car just starts doing flips. The car flipped over 3 times, and believe it or not, everyone got out of the car with not even a scratch. They just crawled out of the car. The car was on its roof, and literally everyone just crawled out of the car like nothing happened. And that just goes to show you the build quality of German engineering and Mercedes. As you guys know, Hollywood just loves using cars in their action movies, and this is one of them. A lot of movies, I forgot what that Denzel Washington movie was, but I remember him driving one of these. It was Man on Fire. Of course, the transporter, Jason Statham, he was using one of these as well. Hollywood really just loves using the W140. Is this so mafia and so cool? Like when you think about W140, when you see the W140, you think mafia, you think prime minister of some country, you think probably the Pope or a rich snobby businessman from the 90s. But honestly, even now, when I get out of this car, or if I'm driving this car, owners who have newer S classes stop me and ask me what year is this. They ask me if I want to sell it. Of course, when I tell them my price, they don't really, they're not really that happy with me. But then again, they don't know the value of this car. But I remember in particular one older gentleman stopped me in his S Class. He was in a W222 S500, and he pulled up next to me and he was like, "Is this a W140?" I was like, "Yes, sir, it is. It's a 96. He's like, "You maintained it really well." He's like, "I remember my father had one of these, and it was my goal to buy S Class." And I guess he went ahead and bought the W222. But yeah, I mean, this car is just such a modern classic. Like, you can park it anywhere. It always gets stared at. Back in the days, the designers and the people who were in charge for research and development had more say over the accountants in car companies. So that's why this car got so over-engineered, and that's why this car is really built to last. I mean, after 23 years, I'm looking at the plastics and the wood and the quality of it. I mean, it's just built so well. Like, I have no complaints. Like, I mean, yeah, like, if I try to open this mirror, it'll probably fall off, but it's nothing that's not fixable, especially this engine as well. That's reliable. It's never given me any issues really, and it just keeps driving and driving. I'm yet to do a road trip with this car, and I think it's just going to be amazing. I'm also afraid that I might fall asleep behind the wheel, because this thing's just so comfy and it's a joy to drive. I hope you guys enjoyed that vlog on the 140. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, and also let me know what you guys want to see from this page, what car you want me to review next. Unfortunately, I didn't get to review my E46, but fortunately I did sell it to my friend. But we will do an E46 review. I have plenty of friends with E46s. There's a lot more to come this year. I'm really sorry about the upload speed and the content speed of me bringing it to you, but it will get better over time. It's just that the beginning of the year is really busy. Everyone's just trying to catch up with their lives, and yeah, hopefully soon we can, you know, keep it more consistent. We're putting out a video every week or 2 videos every week. Make sure you join the cartel. I'll put the link in the description. You know, follow the Instagram page. You get all the behind the scene updates before the videos go live, so make sure you check that out. Anyways, make sure you guys stay tuned for more Horsepower Cartel. A lot more coming up. See you guys next time.